Favors practice today. Will play tomorrow. Kenrich Williams practice today. Probably won't play tomorrow, but it's possible that he'll play that second one in Tulsa. Veet, same status, but that's tracking, and we should have a resolution with his stuff with the league and logistically sooner than later. So that's on track. Everything else is, I think, status quo.
Heading into these last two preseason games, are there any specific players or specific combinations that you're really focused on trying to see and get a good look at?
Yeah, I mean, planning on playing guys more minutes than they've played, the guys that have started and stuff like that. So a longer look at them. Look at Favors for sure. You know, we haven't seen him in a game setting with this group yet. Those things stand out. I think, you know, taking a look at maybe lineups where there's multiple bigs on the court together, you know, Jeremiah Roby, you know, Roby Muscala, maybe one of those guys with Favors at some point. Not sure about that, but yeah, I mean, we're still evaluating. We're trying to use every one of these games and trying to just get as much information as we can.
Similar question, but going into a back-to-back during the preseason, is there any different approach just in the nature that you get to play the same team twice back-to-back days?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who everybody plays. I mean, we're not planning on playing everybody the second night of the back-to-back, just to loosen up some minutes so that we can evaluate the whole roster. I don't know what they'll do, but you know, it's always good from a carryover standpoint and a teaching standpoint when you can go and try to replicate and make the adjustments from one game to the next. We learned that last year. We'll have a chance to do that, but we're more focused right now on, you know, just continuing to improve and continuing to make progress with our stuff.
For the rookies, not a lot of guys have played 3 games in 5 nights. That process of traveling here and there, it's kind of a good learning step for them to kind of get an idea of what's going to be like in the 18-game season.
Sure, yeah, 100%, and I think that's one of the advantages of going back-to-back in the preseason. I don't think it's advantageous necessarily for the returners, but for those guys, it's 100% good, and we plan on playing those guys in both of them just for that reason, you know, to get them conditioned to what it feels like when you got to get yourself ready to play on that third night.
In Denver's first 3 games, they've accumulated 54 turnovers. How are you looking to exploit that in, you know, tomorrow's game?
Their defense has forced 54 turnovers, or they've turned it over.
They've turned it over 54 times.
To be honest with you, I have not watched 1 second of Denver. Like, I don't even know what color uniform they wore. So we're like really laser focused on us. You know, we usually will be. You know, I think over the course of 82 games, you want to prepare the team. They'll be prepared tomorrow. You know, David Daigneault has been watching Denver, but you know, in order to make progress, you got to have an internal focus and an internal scorecard, and that's what we try to have. And so, even in the regular season, 90% of our focus game to game is on us and how we can improve and how we can express our identity against that team rather than to focus on the opponent. So, you know, hopefully they just keep kicking it all over the gym, though. That'd be great.
So would you say then that you would be watching more of your team's film than like an opposing team's film leading up to a game?
In the regular season? Or now? Now, I mean, I won't watch Denver before tomorrow. I'm focused on our team. Our staff will cover it. Our team will see some stuff. In the regular season, I'm pretty similar. You know, I scout the opponent, but we have individual assistants that scout every opponent pretty thoroughly. I mean, they watch the last 5 or 6 games. We have an advanced scout that's out on the road. You know, so we've got a process, but I just think from my standpoint, keeping our team focused on our progress and our identity and what we can control rather than being too focused on the opponent is a responsibility I have in my position.
The quartet of bigs that you talked about, Muscala, Favors, Roby, Jerry, do you view all 4 of those guys as rollers and guys that can pop and guys that can space in the corners so that you could have 2 on the floor at 1 rolling? How do you do that?
Yeah, all a little bit different. You know, I think, you know, Favors is definitely the most traditional of that group. You know, he's not much of a pop guy. We'll use him in that a little bit, but he kind of short rolls. He screens hard to contact, whereas some of those other guys like screen, you know, they get out of screens quickly. I think Robinson, Earl, and Muscala are similar in that they do roll a lot and then they relocate. I thought that's how Jeremiah got so many threes. You know, he got those shots after rolls once our drive and kick was initiated. So they all give us something a little bit different, but we give them the option to roll and pop. We think the diversity of that opens the floor up and keeps our opponents off balance.
Was Jalen Horton with you guys today?
No.
Do you expect him to be?
I don't know the plan. We're going to, start to sign some of these guys for blue and stuff like that. So I don't really know exact plans there, but yeah, those guys that are signing will be with us in the team activities. He was not today, though.
When Sam was having his preseason presser, he was asked if the amount of international guys you would have on the roster was sort of just coincidental or like a strategy in a way, and he said it was just more happenstance, but trying to get guys to play the right way. He mentioned Jeremiah being an example, Villanova guy. Like, how much does college program like really matter? And like a lot of people have said, oh, he went to Villanova. Like, can you tell? How can you tell those sorts of things?
It's a good question. I think every college program, every player's experience is different. There are college programs that you can make some assumptions about players. We've had a lot of Virginia guys, obviously, over the years with Devin Hall and Ty and Mamadi. Those guys are well coached. They're disciplined. They're high character. They understand the connection between character and the court, and I think that's a reflection of Virginia to a degree. Not only what they reinforce when they're there, but who they recruit. You know, these teams that are high-level teams like Villanova, Virginia, they have a choice in who they're bringing in the door, and there's definitely commonalities there. Same with Villanova. Great program. Hard for me to say as a old-school UConn Big East guy, but there's definitely a mentality that's developed there. There's a ton of structure in that program, so those players typically are pretty used to a professional routine and that sort of thing. So there's definitely commonalities when you see multiple guys from the same program. I don't know Jay Wright. I do know Tony Bennett a little bit. I've got relationships with different guys, but when I was in college, I was like a GA, so like you don't like walk up to Jay Wright and say, "Hey, coach, I'm Mark." Yeah, that's one strategy. It wasn't mine.